Hi, Ross here, and I'm back with the Sony Z7s, and this time we're going to talk about mods. If you haven't already seen my unboxing and review videos of the Z7s, please do check them out first, but today I'm just going to focus on the mods themselves. Now, when we saw the first prototypes posted by Jude on Headfire of the prototypes for the Z7, we noticed that the basic design has essentially unchanged from the final version, but we do have these ports in the top and in the bottom which have been fine-tuned to get the sound just right, or at least just right for Sony. The problem with that is there's still a little bit of harshness in the treble, and maybe everything was a little bit discombobulated sounding, so not completely ideal. Now, part of the reason for that is these cups are hollow. Now, obviously they've designed the cups carefully for acoustical tuning, but the problem with the lack of damping in there is that sound tends to bounce around and cause a bit of distortion, so it seems. So what the usual thing people did was take the cups off and put some kind of like a speaker fill or some kind of material in there to try and clean things up. The problem with that is that it changes the acoustic properties of these cups and ends up messing up Sony's work on the sound. So you do get a bit of bass drop off, but it didn't really fix the main problem. Well, the thing is, I looked around and kept an eye on the mods for a while, actually for quite some time. I even went to a couple of meets where I checked out people's mods of them, and it was kind of, yeah, it seemed to make some improvement. The real key to fixing these up turned out to be something that was already in them. Now, inside the cups, there is a little bit of a gap between the driver and the pads, and inside that gap there is a small amount of felt stuck onto the to prevent reflections, and it turned out that was the key. Now, a Headfire member, Whittigear, I guess that's how you pronounce his name, came up with the idea of using a $2 roll of surgical tape that you just buy down at your local drugstore, and he covered every single reflective surface, being careful not to block any holes, every single reflective surface inside the cups. And the result of that is the sound stops bouncing around in there, but it doesn't change the basic acoustic properties of the headphones. And the result of that is I tried it myself, and the highs are all cleaned up. They're nice and smooth now, and the sound loses a little bit of its discombobulated feeling, but maintains its essential, a little bit darker bass form signature, and makes them a really nice pair of cans to listen with. Especially if you've got, like me, you've got other high-end cans, and you really tend to notice the kind of grating sound of the treble after listening with a lot of these headphones. And so it was kind of disappointing that I couldn't use them, but now after doing the tape mod as suggested by him, they are really nice. Now, he went further and replaced the basic internal wire. You know, you have a little bit of what looks like cheap wire inside, and you end up buying, a really expensive cable on the outside. He ended up replacing that wire with what appears to be some silver wire, and other people have done much the same thing. There's even a guy, Peter E.K., who replaced the 3.5mm sockets that are built into the cups. He replaced them with Odyssey-style 4-pin XLR sockets, so you could use Odyssey cables on them, and a different variety of cables indeed. So, my recommendation is, if you want to give it a go buy yourself a roll of basic surgical tape, and to open them up, all you have to do is, there's a little tiny screw down the bottom of the cup you have to undo, and then the cups just click off with a short turn. And then basically remove a few screws, open them up, and just tape over everything, put them back together and see how you go. But if you want a better sounding pair of Z7s, that's my recommendation. Now, the really funny thing was, I bought Hi-Fi-Man HE1000s, and I remembered this mod, and I thought, well, they do sound a little bit harsh in the treble as well, not perfectly clean sounding. And so I tried the same mod on the HE1000s, and it came up with the same result. Everything was cleaned up nicely. So, of course, now Hi-Fi-Man now I've got the version 2 of the HE1000, and that seems to very likely have fixed many of the issues with them. But there again, amazing how even simple and cheap things can make quite a bit of a difference. So that's the Sony Z7 mods that I recommend. And so I hope you enjoyed this short video, and if you have any questions, put them in the comments, and if you did like the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more, subscribe.